You called me out to the middle of nowhere, Batman. Not your usual rooftop meeting spot, I appreciate that. Cities make the spirit of vengeance restless, too many sinners crammed together. How have you been holding up in Gotham? Fighting crime without supernatural backup must be exhausting. The innocent souls I've encountered speak well of you. They say you give them hope when everything feels hopeless. That counts for something.
Ghost Rider, thank you for meeting me here. I know you prefer open spaces away from population centers. Gotham's been demanding as always, but I manage. Your reputation reaches even my city. People talk about the spirit of vengeance with respect and fear. How's Johnny Blaze handling the bond with Zarathos these days? I imagine sharing your body with a demon isn't easy, even for a good cause.
Johnny and Zarathos have an understanding now. Mostly some days are harder than others. The demon wants to burn everything. Johnny wants to protect people. We compromise. The guilty burn, the innocent walk free. It works well enough to keep both sides satisfied. But you didn't call me out here to discuss my internal struggles. What's the situation? You mentioned something about an ancient mutant on the phone. Give me details.
And Sabanur, known as Apocalypse. He's the first mutant born thousands of years ago in ancient Egypt. He believes in survival of the fittest taken to its extreme. Apocalypse has godlike powers. Molecular manipulation, energy projection, size alteration, immortality. He's woken from centuries of sleep and he's gathering followers. His plan is to destroy modern civilization and rebuild it with only the strong surviving. Billions would die in the process.
A mutant god who thinks he gets to decide who lives and dies based on strength. The spirit of vengeance has opinions about beings who play God with innocent lives. But if he's been around for thousands of years with those powers, how has nobody stopped him permanently? Heroes must have fought him before. What makes you think we can succeed where others failed? He sounds unkillable by normal means.
Apocalypse has been defeated before but never permanently killed. He always returns, either through resurrection technology or backup bodies he prepared centuries ago. Previous victories were temporary. Heroes beat him, he goes dormant, eventually he wakes up again. The cycle repeats. I'm not interested in beating him temporarily. I want a permanent solution that prevents him from ever threatening humanity again. That's why I need your specific abilities.
You want to use the penance stare on him. Make him experience every death he's caused over thousands of years. That's thousands of innocent souls crying out for justice. The weight of that guilt would crush any normal being's mind. Problem is, Apocalypse doesn't feel guilt. He believes everything he does is right. Survival of the fittest isn't murder to him, it's natural law. The penance stare only works on beings who can feel remorse for their sins.
I'm aware of the penance stare's limitations. But Apocalypse wasn't always a monster. He started as a child slave in Egypt who suffered abuse and trauma. Those early experiences shaped his philosophy. Somewhere deep in his consciousness, before he became a god, there's a wounded child who knows what suffering feels like. If we can reach that part of him through the penance stare, force him to remember his own pain, he might understand the evil he's committed.
Reaching past thousands of years of accumulated power and ego to find a traumatized child. That's a long shot, Batman. But I've seen the penance stare do unexpected things to beings who thought they were beyond judgment. If that original innocent part of Sabanur still exists somewhere in there, the spirit of vengeance will find it. Question is how we get close enough to use it. He's not going to stand still and let me stare into his soul.
Let's get Robin's input.
Apocalypse collects followers he calls his Four Horsemen. He empowers them and uses them as his primary weapons. But he chooses them based on potential, not loyalty. If we can infiltrate his horsemen with someone he'd consider worthy, someone strong who fits his philosophy, we get close access. Once inside his inner circle, the infiltrator creates an opening for Ghost Rider. Apocalypse's arrogance makes him blind to betrayal from those he considers beneath him.
The kid's got a devious mind. Infiltration through his own recruitment process. Apocalypse would never suspect someone meeting his strength criteria to be working against him. But who do we send in? Needs to be someone genuinely powerful that he'd want as a horseman. Someone who can survive his empowerment process without being corrupted. And someone willing to betray him at the critical moment. That's a very specific set of requirements we're looking for here.
I've already arranged that part. Storm from the X-Men has agreed to pose as a potential horseman. Her weather manipulation powers fit Apocalypse's criteria for strength. She's worked with Professor Xavier on psychic defenses, so Apocalypse's mental influence won't corrupt her. Once she's close enough to him, she creates a distraction using a localized electromagnetic storm. That's your opening. You ride in, use the penance stare while his attention is divided.
Storm's a solid choice, strong enough to be believable and disciplined enough to resist corruption. But Apocalypse has telepathic abilities. He might read her mind and discover the deception before she gets close. Even with Xavier's training, resisting a being that old and powerful is difficult. One slip in her mental defenses and he sees through everything. Then we lose our chance and Storm becomes an actual corrupted horseman serving him willingly.
Master Bruce Ryder, I've been monitoring Apocalypse's known abilities. His telepathy is formidable but not unlimited. Historical records show he focuses his mental attention on threats, not allies. If Storm presents herself as an eager convert to his philosophy, someone who genuinely believes in survival of the fittest, he's less likely to probe deeply. Arrogant beings rarely question those who worship them. The deception must be in her belief system, not just her surface thoughts.
Alfred's analysis is correct. Storm won't pretend to serve Apocalypse. She'll pretend to believe in his philosophy. That belief has to be genuine enough to pass telepathic scrutiny. Xavier's been working with her on temporary belief adoption, a technique where she convinces herself the philosophy is correct, while maintaining awareness that it's temporary. Once she's inside and creates the distraction, Ghost Rider has approximately 30 seconds to execute the penance stare before Apocalypse recovers.
30 seconds to break a god who's lived for millennia. No pressure. But if that child still exists inside in Sabanur, if any part of him remembers being helpless and suffering, the spirit of vengeance will find it. Every innocent life he's destroyed will speak through me. He'll feel the weight of thousands of years of evil compressed into one moment. If that doesn't destroy him or change him, nothing will. Let's end this cycle, Batman. Let's give those souls justice.